my name is Lyric Wardlow. I'm the communications manager for Echo, and I'm excited to just talk to you today about governance and how you got involved. So, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you came to be in Austin?
Well, my name is Linda Jackson. Let's see, I've been in Central Texas for most of my life. I went to high school in Bastrop, lived in Lockhart, came to Austin. I worked here for years growing up. I'm 61, so I've been doing Central Texas for a while. Back, let's see, in 1998, I was injured and became disabled. And through a series of events, wound up homeless here in Austin for off and on for 6 years. I fought with that, made bad decisions, did things that I shouldn't, and wound up in jail and in prison. And coming out of that, was homeless again after working hard to get off the streets for a period of time. I went to Salvation Army one day, kicking and screaming because I didn't want to go there, but really knew that I didn't have any choice. There's not a safe place for women out on the streets. I don't think there's a safe place for anyone, but especially women alone. So I went to Salvation Army and stayed there, and through their counselors and support, as well as Goodwill, who had an office there with a counselor, just Pathways counselor. I went to Communities for Recovery and got a life coach there. I had so many different people helping me at that point that I really didn't have any choice but to succeed. It really wasn't going to go any other way. So I got a rapid rehousing voucher and employed and a car and things like that. I used to, when I first started doing outreach, I'd tell everyone, it had only been 2-3 years since I walked into Salvation Army with nothing but a backpack full of stuff, and within 2 to 3 years had my own car, had a job, had an apartment, had, all these things coming together, and was able to go out and help others who were then going through the same thing.
Oh, what was the job that you got?
A Chinese food delivery driver.
Gotcha.
We found a company that had fleet cars, and shameless plug, went to work for Mama Foo's. They're no longer around.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And through tips and salary, my tips probably were as much as my salary, to be honest. I got my own car. So when they sold off the fleet cars, I had a car to replace it and kept delivering and doing caterings and things like that. And that's how I got on my feet. And so I used that as a plug for hope, where people on the streets were concerned. I'm like, look, I went to prison. I'm a felon, when I came out and took these steps. And within 2 years, here I am helping you. So you can do it. You really can.
Can you tell me a little bit more about those situations? Like how, what brought you to other people who had, were going through things, and you're talking about outreach. Like what made you start having these interactions with people where you were, you can do it, you can.
I guess because of the experience that I had. I know because I was homeless back in the early 2000s, and there wasn't all the help and stuff that there is now. It wasn't okay. It wasn't legal. It wasn't, if you were caught walking down the street with your backpack looking homeless, somebody was going to mess with you. And not only the police, we had people drive by and shoot you with paintball guns. I mean, it was ridiculous. So you were just I didn't know. If there were resources, I didn't know what they were. And I fought for 6 years. I wound up homeless at my own stupidity and naivety. I worked in South Austin. I lived way up off of Nameless Road in North Austin, and my car broke down. And I thought, well, if I go home, I'm not going to have a job, and I'm going to lose my home anyway. if I just stay in South Austin, then I can get back and forth to work and I'll get a place to live next month. Wow, was I wrong? It took 6 years. Wow. Because to get a home, you have to have a home. To get a job, you have to have a job. You have to have a phone number. You have to have all these things that I didn't have. And then started the age of credit scores being the most important thing and I had none. I had dashes. I didn't even have a number.
Wow.
And there's a whole lot of stuff that I had to get together before I could get a place to live, And with no income, that was defeated instantly because I did lose my job anyway, It became a hole that a pit with a slippery slope that you had a very difficult time climbing out of, no matter how hard you tried. And to be quite honest, after a while, you kind of give up. You get tired of getting beat down over and over and over again. There's a whole mentality behind living in that space. It becomes self-defeating. You lose confidence in yourself and everyone else.
Yeah. So when you were meeting other people who also were going through things, that came naturally to you to give them some wisdom and talk
hope.
To them. Yeah, and hope.
Just hope. It's like the most important thing. Without it, you've got nothing.
So you said a little bit about all the different kind of, like, you got a life coach from one organization, you got rapid rehousing help from another. When was it that you first started to learn about lived experience and being able to use what you had gone through in the work that people did?
I started learning about the resources that I could interact with at Salvation Army, okay? But Communities for Recovery is where I learned about peer support. That's where I learned that people who are going through it are the best people to help those going through it because they understand.
Yeah, and that's their whole role.
Yeah, right. And I love. I've worked with Maximizing Hope. I've worked with First Baptist Church of Austin. I've worked with Austin Mutual Aid, Better Together. I've volunteered in collaboration with so many people that I can't tell you exactly where the first one is that has said it, but there's things that have rung true with me. I can tell you that Tanya from Maximizing Hope used to say all the time, if you walk, we walk. I'll walk beside you all day long. I can't do it for you, but I'll walk with you as far as you want to walk. If you have to stop, if you're not ready, I'll go walk with someone else, but I'll come back when you're ready to walk again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's true because everyone gets there at a different rate. Fear's our biggest obstacle. We will go back to the misery that we are familiar with before we will step into something new. For fear of failure, for fear of what that looks like, for not knowing what's to come. So that's one of my probably huge personality flaws is if something makes me uncomfortable like this interview, I will do it intentionally because I figure there's a reason why it's making me uncomfortable and I need to address that. So I try not to let fear stand in my way.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Trying to keep the tears away. We've never gotten to like have a real conversation together, but I mean, I understand exactly what it's like to live in those situations and having someone walk with you. Like that's one of the things as a homeless teen. Like if someone had offered that at the time, probably would have made a huge impact on my childhood of just like however long you want to walk, and if you need to stop for a second, we can come back to it. That would have really changed
Yeah.
young teen Lyric, who was really needing people to walk with her. So
Right.
yeah.
That biggest influence for me was probably, I don't know if it's confidentiality thing or not, but her name is Elaine. I used to call her my
Hi,
life
Elaine.
coach. I used to call her my life coach. She was from Communities for Recovery, and she was probably the biggest influence in that.
Yeah. And there's always, I mean, honestly, I think in the work, in homelessness work, there's going to be that one person that really like just like made an impact and like
Yeah.
like just really hit where you where it's home for you, like
Right.
emotionally.
Right.
And so I'm curious what made you come to Echo's work? Like where was the turn for you to, hear about it and get involved?
I'm not real sure I remember exactly what it was. I know when I was working with Maximizing Hope, Chris came out and filmed us and what we were doing. And I saw that interview and I thought, we really can make a difference. And I got invited a couple of times to different spaces where people wanted to hear what I said. I come from a place where growing up, kids were to be seen and not heard. I am the definition of Generation X. I mean, we nobody wanted to hear from us. Nobody wanted to hear what we had to say. But we learned how to survive on our own. We learned how to make it. Resiliency was our middle name, although my mom always said mine was Go. So when I went to a meeting and I asked questions, I went to a stakeholders meeting for Echo. I would go, that's what it was. Maximizing Hope, Tanya, would encourage me to go to the stakeholders meetings and listen to what was going on so that we could get information that we could use in outreach. She was in class, and that's where it started. I started going to stakeholders meetings and asking questions. I'm one of those people that likes to ask the question nobody wants to answer. It doesn't bother me. I don't get funded by the government. I wasn't getting a paycheck from anybody, so I could ask whatever I wanted. So I did. And people responded to that. They kept inviting me back. It blew my mind. And I found out about the work groups and committees and started getting involved with the ones that were most pertinent to what I was doing. Then First Baptist Church, Selena was the social worker there at the time, told me I should get on the crisis response committee. And I did. I applied for it and I got it. And that work was amazing, being able to tackle a problem or a situation or find solutions to something that was going on and actually see the difference that it made. And during quarantine, I got involved with Project Connect, and that was amazing, doing surveys for Walk, Bike, Roll, for the urban trails, I was a catalyst on the group that created the equity tool for Project Connect. That was an amazing work. Worked with some amazing people. I mean, just incredible people that even today I'll shoot an email to, like, hey, what's going on? This is what happened, But really, I guess the one that stuck out the most was ATX Walk, Bike, Roll, because we were doing these surveys in neighborhoods and asking people what was needed, and so quickly saw it done. Within a month, had one of my unhoused neighbors call me and say, hey man, we got this thing going on Peyton Gen, where there's these lanes and there's bike lanes and turning lanes and the pavement's a different color than the rest of it, and I know where I'm supposed to be, and the cars know where I'm supposed to be and where they're supposed to be, and it's just so much better.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's cool, and gave me incentive to continue doing things like that I could see the outcome of. I could see how it turned out. And that makes a big difference. My grandmother was one of those people that you didn't complain to unless you came up with an answer.
Wow.
Okay? If you weren't feeling good, her first question, I guess she came from a generation where BMs were really important because that was always her first question. Did you go to the bathroom today? The next one was, did you take an aspirin? There was this series. But it always started with, what did you do to solve it? Because if you did nothing, why are you talking to me?
You haven't tried.
Yeah. If you didn't try and fix it, what do you want me to do about it? So that's the way I feel about Austin. I mean, I live here. I care about this town. I've lived here for so long. It's ridiculous. I got the job as a delivery driver because I've been driving here for 45 years.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I be involved with what goes on here?
Right. Yeah.
Why would I hide in my house and complain about it instead of stepping up and trying to do something about it? Be proactive in your life.
Can you tell me what committees or work groups that you're a part of within our ECHOS governance system?
I'm on, maybe. I may not know all of them. And there's some committees that I go to, just to learn and to input. And I'm not a member of, so because the work is important.
Right.
Okay. I am on Leadership Council. I'm a voting member there. I hold the lived experience seat. I am the LC rep, the Leadership Council rep for the Crisis Response Committee, because my time there was up anyway. I was a voting member there for 3 years. I am currently a new and temporary voting member of the Equity Committee that is changing names. But I'm a temporary member because they need someone to fill in for a little while till they find an appropriate voting member. And it wasn't something, I've been doing that work for a very long time, and it needs to be spread out to some new people. It needs some new diversity and some new blood in there and some new opinions and new words. So I'm not going to stay there. I'm just going to kind of help lift them up and head them on their way.
Yeah. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Get involved.
Right. The Permanent Housing Committee work group I'm a member of the work group that's been working on the policies and procedures for transfers and things like that. I think that's it. I'm not positive on that.
Well, we're getting on time, but I just wanted to ask you something that's not governance related
Okay.
But just what do you love to do outside of the work that you're being a part of in the community?
Oh, wow. That's hard.
You have a lot of
Really
things?
is. No, because I pretty much do this all the time.
Oh, wow.
It's just part of who I am. It's a 24-hour-a-day thing. I work with Austin Mutual Aid at the moment. I contract with them to help them collaborate with others. So that's what I do. I talk to people and network with people, educate people, do outreach, pass out things, all those things pretty much all the time.
Sounds like it's your passion.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And that's the hardest part of it, because I don't I don't go to work every day. It's when you do something that you're passionate about, you don't work a single day. It's all your passion. It's all what you do.
Right.
I've got some other things that I'm working on that I won't discuss right now because it's important to be kept confidential. But things are hopefully going to turn out well. Yeah. To try and fill in a gap that's missing in the services here in Austin.
Wow.
And I like to carve wood and I write occasionally, but my writing is it involves an emotional response. So I try not to get very deep in the weeds with that. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Because it makes me cry and it makes other people cry. And I don't, and I want people to have hope and be happy. But I write on occasion, not very often, and I like to carve wood. But
I love that.
those two things are pretty much the only other hobbies that I have.
Very creative. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for talking with me today and telling me more about how you've been involved and just like your lived experience of in Austin and having the city change and all the things that come with that. So I just want to thank you again for speaking to me today.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
And I've enjoyed and having the chance to get to know you.
Yeah, we've never gotten to have a conversation. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.